If you've been following the protests and everything going on in the world, you might have heard of actor Kendrick Sampson and the activism that he's been doing, as well as if you watch TV these days. Well, this video is going to be a deep dive into telling you a bit more about him and what he is doing for our community. So the first question that we might want to ask ourselves is, who is Kendrick? Kendrick is an actor whose roles include How to Get Away with Murder, The Flash, and Insecure, as well as various other roles. And he also does a lot of activism. He supports Bernie Sanders. He has been an active protester, and he lists legendary activists James Baldwin, as well as Fred Hampton and Will Smith as his inspirations. He is from Houston, Texas, and he is of mixed heritage, having a Black father and a white mother. Now, Kendrick has been on the front lines as all of this has been going on in the wake of George Floyd, and even before that, he has been on the front lines and he has always been an activist.
We had to go on air briefly, but then circled back to Sampson to hear what he had to say.
Tell me why, when you see, that commander from the police walking with some protesters and then taking a knee, you're saying that's not what you're about.
That is absolutely not what I'm about, because we don't want anybody to take a knee. A knee does not help me heal from the wounds that they shot me 7 times on Saturday. It does not help my boy who has 2 broken bones in his skull right now because they aimed a cannon at his head with rubber bullets and shot him directly. It does not help this wound on my chest. It does not help the swelling on my arm. It does not help all the batons that hit me and my assistant and split his shin open to the point that he needed stitches when we went to the ER. It does not help that. It does not help the 601 people that have been murdered at the hands of police in LA County since the 8 years ago, since Jackie Lacey got in office. It does not help Jackie Lacey hold cops accountable. It does not give our communities the resources that they actually need for mental health care, for relief for COVID, from the things that would actually keep us safe, not cops. We're calling for defunding the police. That is antithetical to that movement. They are not doing anything. They're standing behind Chief Moore, who literally just said yesterday that looters have on their hands the blood of George Floyd. Eric Garcetti stood behind him. He did not denounce it. And I am saying that that is a farce. And so that is a lie. That is some PR to make them look good. And I don't want that associated with us.
Kendrick is one of those actors who does not just talk the talk, but he also walks the walk. If you go to his social media, you will see several posts about everything that's been happening and how you could help and what he has been doing. There's even an alarming post showing that how he was hurt by the rubber bullets that the cops have been firing over and over again. As he warns, these things might make you squeamish, but it's so notable for an actor who, as popular as he has become, is out on the front lines and doing this work for our people. In addition to that, you might know Kendrick from his role in Insecure as Nathan, where he's also breaking barriers as well. Nathan was a love interest to Issa that was introduced last season, and thank God they've led that into this season. Now, Nathan was infamous for ghosting Issa, but we recently found out that it has to do with mental health. And in addition to that, Nathan, in my eyes, is probably one of the most organic relationships I feel that Issa has had on the show. You can tell that he genuinely likes her and he motivates her and he pushes her in ways that no other male characters have, especially when it comes to her love interest. In addition to that, he also is very open with Issa when he needs to be. And I understand that the ghosting was an issue, but again, we find out that that was due to mental health, and I'll explain the specifics of that in a moment. And in addition, I mean, come on, look at how gorgeous this man is. I mean, it doesn't hurt. Most of the guys in Insecure are pretty attractive as is, but Nathan is definitely up there when compared to some of the other love interests that she has. And it kind of upsets me because you can clearly tell that this is a guy who will be really, really good for her because of the chemistry that they have and because he pushes and he supports her. But Issa, of course, is so tied to things that have happened in her past. Now, in addition to that, Nathan also is just a ride or die for Issa, and he has been from the jump. I mean, remember the first scene when he got into the car?
Hey, Issa, That's me, driving the party lift.
Oh, this a party lift? That's what's up. Shit. Hand me two of them Capri Suns then.
Nigga parched.
Gotta see if I have to.
Oh, y'all only got Fruit Frenzy? That's alright.
Nathan, did you get one?
They only got Fruit Frenzy.
All right, let's go. Party lift, party lift, party lift.
What's up, little man?
So you going to Hyde Park?
I'm easy. I'm gonna go wherever y'all go.
Oh, well, can you go back there and buckle up?
Oh, you bossy. I likes that.
Issa, we got a little sitch back there. Excuse me, sir. Can that not be happening?
No, you good?
The lady asked you not to do that.
Y'all bitches said it's a party lift.
Wow. Tell him on.
A nigga trying to party.
Yeah, you said get another lift.
You do it. You try.
Oh my God! Oh my God! Issa, do something! Stop fighting! Is that it? I'm driving! Nigga, pull over! I can't find a parking space! Fuck us, babe! I'm gonna take it! Issa! You good?
My eyes.
He not good.
Who is going to do that? Who is going to sit there and ride for you and fight for you upon first meeting you? I knew right then and there that Nathan was somebody you need to keep on your side. Now, getting into the mental health issues, he recently posted this picture to his Instagram, and it says, "I love this picture. I've been saving it for no reason. I feel like we look like we went back to high school as adults. Listen, I really appreciate Issa Rae, The Apprentice, and the Insecure HBO writers for going deeper into Nathan's storyline of his struggle with mental illness. Kerry Washington for directing the hell out of this story. It is a personal passion of mine. I wrote an op-ed about it and our work we plan to do with BLDPWR to liberate mental health. Black folks have so many barriers to our mental health. We live in an anti-Black culture founded on the slavery of our ancestors." So he posts about this, and in specific, we find out later that Nathan was dealing with these issues with bipolar disorder. And in addition to that, this is a big thing in the Black community. We just traditionally haven't taken mental health as seriously as we need to. And a lot of people were faulting Nathan for ghosting Issa when, as I've said, I feel like we've seen time and time again that he is really one of the characters who is there for Issa. Now, getting into the subject of mental health and bipolar disorder is generally characterized by unusual shifts in mood, energy, and activity levels. There are treatments for bipolar disorder, and people with this condition can lead full, engaged, and productive lives. Now, if you've never seen a person with bipolar disorder, many of us may not have, and you don't know the type of effects that it might have on somebody, I recommend that you check out the show Modern Love. So Modern Love is an anthology series based on a column from the New York Times where people would send in interesting and unique love stories. Each episode has its own individual story. There is one episode in particular that features Anne Hathaway, which I believe is titled "Take Me As I Am" or "Don't Take Me at All." It's something along those lines. I'll put the link in the comments below for the information. And it deals with the character who does have bipolar disorder. You don't know it at first. I remember when I first began watching, I was like, what is going on? But the episode does such a beautiful job of explaining the highs and the lows of people with bipolar disorder and what they have to deal with. And it gave me a very good understanding so that when somebody says, oh, I'm a little bipolar, that I know that it is a bit disrespectful for somebody to say that. And by the end of the episode, it is so gripping. Anne Hathaway does an amazing job. This is probably one of the best things I've ever seen her in, and it's only 30 minutes, that you really feel for people who might have had this disorder. So when Nathan said it was bipolar disorder, I more than understood how he could get to that point where he ended up ghosting Issa. Now, to go into bipolar disorder a bit more, these are the symptoms. So bipolar disorder includes manic episodes, feeling overly happy for long periods of time, talking very fast with racing thoughts, becoming easily distracted, having overconfidence and ability, engaging in risky behavior. Bipolar disorder doesn't mean that you just act absolutely crazy, okay? It doesn't mean that you get mad or upset on a whim and try to, hurt someone. That is not necessarily what bipolar disorder is, and that's important to understand. It just might mean that one day you are feeling like you are on top of the world, and then the next day you feel like you are nothing and you don't want to do anything. So these are the depression episodes. So feeling bad or hopeless for long periods of time, significant change in appetite, thinking about or attempting suicide, feeling fatigue or a lack of energy, problems with memory and concentration. So these are all traits. So when you think about this, that these were some of the things that Nathan had to deal with, his story becomes a lot more understandable, a lot more believable. Now, getting back into Kendrick Sampson, he has been doing a phenomenal job. He is representing Black men at their peak right now, and I think that his career is really going to go far, and I absolutely love him for that and everything that he is doing right now, both on and off the screen. And I recommend that you give him a follow and check him out on his Instagram as well as his Twitter. I will put the links to those in the comment section below. Thank you so much for watching, and please subscribe if you can.